Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Kovacs here, and Mishnah Yomi is in chapter 3 of Eduyot, Testimonies, Mishnayot, Vav, and Zion, continuing to talk about Rabbi Dosa versus the other sages. Hashavuya, a woman who was captured by idolatrous bandits, and often, God forbid, women captured by such people might have been violated by their captors. But this shvuya, the Mishnah says, ochelet betrumah. She can continue eating trumah if she was the wife of a Kohen who is entitled to her husband, or the daughter of a Kohen entitled to her father, eat trumah. Div Rabbi Dosa. According to Rabbi Dosa, he assumes they do not violate these. Typically, they are captives unless you know otherwise. Chachamim Amrim, the sages say, Yeshvu Yochelet, some captured women, once they come home, they can eat. Yeshvu Yochelet, and some cannot continue to eat truma. And God willing, everyone who's captured, men, women, and children alike, will be returned to their home in Eretz Yisrael, please God, soon. But anyway, the sages say there's a distinction to be made. Ketzad, what's the distinction? Ha'isha she'amra nishbeiti. A woman says, I had been captured by these pagans, but I was not touched by them. Ochelet, she can continue eating truma. Why? Shehapei she'asar, the mouth that made her forbidden, that's her own mouth admitting she was captured. Huapei shehiter. We can also trust that same voice to say she was not touched by them, because we only know she was captured because of her own mouth, so we can also believe her own mouth to say she was untouched. If there were witnesses, Jewish witnesses, that she was captured by these horrible pagans, and she says, yeah, I admit, like they said, but I wasn't touched, Eina ochelet. Since there's independent corroboration that she was captured in a situation where there was a chance that something took place against her will, of course, then she can't eat even if she claims she was not touched. Obviously, if there are witnesses that she was not touched, there were other Jews in captivity with her who were keeping an eye on her, then she would still be allowed to eat truma. Let's go on to Mishnah Zion. Arba sveikot. There are 4 cases of doubt where Rabbi Hoshua metame. Rabbi Hoshua says we are machmir, we say that it is impure because of the doubt. Chachamim metarim. The other sages say tahor, say it's pure. Now, don't worry, we're going to see this Mishnah in Tahorot, chapter 6, in a little while, or a year, I don't know exactly when, so we'll see it in more detail there. But basically, these are situations where there might have been a spread of ritual impurity, but we're not sure. Ketzad, so what are the examples here? Hatame omed, somebody who is impure. The Mefarshim say it could be he was a mitzora, who has impurity from his body if he's touched, or under the same roof as someone, or it could be he's tamemet. The tahor over, somebody who's pure is passing by, or a tahor omed, the pure person is standing still, vatame over, and somebody with impurity is passing by. And the idea being one of them is under a roof, and we're not sure if when he passed by, he also went under the roof enough to be under the same roof, the same ohel, remember, as the source of trumah. We said by a corpse or even bones under the same ohel as someone could transmit trumah. So we're not really sure if he got under the same roof as the source of trumah. And the next case is Tuma B'Shuta Yachid. There's something impure in a private domain, like a home. The Tahara B'Shuz Rabim, somebody who's Tahor is outside in a different domain, and we're not quite sure that this item went inside and was exposed to the impurity, or Tahara B'Shuz Yachid, the pure item was indoors, Tuma B'Shuta Rabim, the impure item was outdoors, but we're not sure if it got in there and caused a impurity problem. And the Mishnah says whether this is Safek Naga, we have a doubt if it touched, Safek Lo Nagar, we have a doubt it might not have touched, or Safek Hehil, we have a Safek if it made an Ohel, like they were under the same roof or one on top of another, or Safek Lo Hehil, maybe it's possible they were not under the same roof, or likewise, or Safek Hesit, there's a doubt if they moved the Tameh item, or Safek Lo Hesit, or if he had not moved the Tameh item. In all these cases, Rabbi Yeshua Metame, when there's a doubt, Rabbi Yeshua says all of these cases are tameh, chachamim, matarin, but the other sages say it's still tahor. And Gahati points out, in general, if there's a suffix of tuma, a possibility something was contaminated in Reshuta Yachid, in a private domain, typically we're machmir, we learn this out from Sota, but here there's a doubt if they were ever in the same domain, and therefore, according to the sages at least, it is pure, whereas Rabbi Yeshua says, it might have been in there in the Reshuta Yachids, which should be impure. Yashar kochachem, tizko the mitzvahs.